Okay, so here goes to our first Ask Missy Friday. I'm going to read my first letter. I'm going to ask you all to be respectful in your responses after I've responded. I will open the floor to you, but of course, be mindful that this is a person who's asking for our perspective, who has an issue. If you have nothing constructive to say, just don't say anything at all. I'll appreciate that. Here goes. Hey, Missy, I want some advice. I divorced the mother of my children 11 months after my first daughter was born. The reason being was she was abusive. If we would get into an argument, she would put her hands on me to the point where I would try to restrain her or I'd just walk away. The last straw was when we weren't speaking for a few days. She comes and pushes me off of a bar stool in our kitchen while I'm holding our 11-month-old. That day I packed my things and left. The only regret that night is that I didn't take my daughters with me. I left because my pops used to abuse my mom. I knew firsthand what effect it would have on my daughters if I would have stayed. So basically, I went through a 4-year custody battle. I had to prove to courts I was a fit parent because she played victim in court, painted me as an abuser, and she even went as far as to say she feared I may do something sexual with my daughters. I went to every court hearing. I did all they asked me to do while getting visitation. They gave her primary custody because the girls were 4 and 3, and the judge claimed because they were that young, it was best that they'd be with their mother. I paid $1,000 in child support since they were born. I never been late with a payment. I got them every weekend, and we alternated holidays. I decided to break off an engagement with a woman I was with for 5 years, and I started over. I had to move further away from my girls to live with my brother, and she didn't even work with me to make sure I maintained the routine with our daughters. She stood me up on weekends and began to make it difficult as possible. Now, fast forward, present day, she moved to North Carolina without checking in with me or the courts, and she waited 6 months to inform me of where she is. When I call to speak with the girls, she doesn't answer. I suggested she get Wi-Fi so we can Skype. I even sent my daughters iPods so they can FaceTime me, but she doesn't allow them to. It's clear that she doesn't want me to play an active role in their life. When I'm single, she plays nice, but when I'm seeing someone, she turns into the biggest bitch. I'm discouraged. I have no reservations about taking her going back to court and fight, but to be honest, I feel she manipulates our daughters into lying, and she raises them in fear as they tell me she leaves them in the house by themselves while she works overnight, and they walk to school by themselves, and the school is 2 miles from their home. My thing is, I fear the courts will be biased again, and that because they're young, she is manipulating them and intimidating them with fear. I fear I won't get a fair shot until they get older, and the filtering process won't be as much. If you make a video about this, you can call me early. Thoughts, comments, advice. I just want to be a father, because growing up in foster care, I know firsthand what effects that can have for parents not to be there, especially since they are girls. Okay, early. That was a lot. My heart goes out to you because, as you probably have seen in my previous videos, I am an advocate for fathers being present for their children and women to get out the way and allow them to do what they are supposed to do. This woman is obviously bitter. She has issues that came way before you came into the picture. It's unfortunate, but now your girls are here. I'm going to say to you what I said to you briefly before this video. Never stop fighting for your girls. I don't care how difficult she makes it, and trust me, I get it. I get that it is hard and it's tiring, and a lot of times you're going to feel defeated because the system is not in your favor. The truth is, our system has a lot of holes in it when it comes to being unbiased to men. That is the truth. The fact that she left out of the state, I don't know what your arrangements were as far as custody was concerned, whether you had shared custody or not. But what I do know is that she should not have been allowed to do that. And the moment you found out, I think you had rights to go to the court and demand that she come back into the state and bring your daughters. I don't know what your situation is. Of course, an email is not going to tell me everything. But I will say this to you. You mentioned not caring about fighting her again, but you're afraid. Don't let fear cripple you. Do what you have to do, because as you said, right now the only words and the only side these children are getting information from is from their mother, who's clearly bitter, angry, and will do what she needs to do to get you out of the way. Now, if it is how you say it is, and she is the one who was abusive, and she is the one that has the issues here, I think that, yes, your daughters will have a hard way to go in trying to connect with you, because who knows all the things that she's told them. It is critical that you let them know that you are still trying to be there for them. I don't care if it's sending them letters every week, making a photocopy, keeping yourself, always keep copies of what you send them. I don't care if it's calling every week, every day, every other day, whatever it is that you need to do. Don't stop doing your part, because trust me, when those girls get older, they're going to ask you, what did you do to make sure that you were present? You can never say, I stopped because I got tired. That's not acceptable in the eyes of a child. And trust me when I tell you, our children are our biggest judges. We talk about other people judging us. No one judges us heavier and with more accountability than our own children. Continue doing what you have to do. Reach out. Get an advocacy group. Do what you have to do from here. If it means going and taking a drive down to North Carolina where they are, starting court proceedings, do what you have to do to see your babies. That is my advice to you. Good luck with everything, and I hope that this works out. But again, make sure you keep note of every time you tried.